Hey there, good afternoon. Welcome to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews with Connie Fuchsa. I am Connie Fuchsa, and I created this interview series purposely to try to share with you some pretty amazing people. Some I know, and some I've met through this really incredible journey that we're doing. And I've gotten the opportunity to meet some people that, felt something, saw something, felt a need out there and decided to act on it. And sometimes it's a scary opportunity, or sometimes it's a scary process, and sometimes it just flows. And so what I do is bring to you guys these amazing people with their really cool stories, so you can see that, becoming an entrepreneur does not just drop out of the sky. Oh, it's a magic ray of light and everything works perfectly. It never is that way. As a matter of fact, it's so not that way. And so I really want to share with you guys not only these stories, but also these amazing individuals and what they're doing and how what they're doing can help you. So today I have the unique opportunity to introduce you to a lady that I just recently met. And she has one of those really unique stories that you don't, she saw something that isn't just out there. She saw something that really needed to be done and has cultivated an amazing business out of it. So I want to introduce you to Jacqueline Myers. Jacqueline, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Connie. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. So thrilled to have you. So Jacqueline, tell us about you. Tell us who you are, where you came from, what you're doing now, and how you got to do that.
Well, I started out as a college professor for many years. And when my daughter went to college, I decided I need to do something different. I'm getting burnout with all of the, all the grading and all of that stuff. And so I decided I wanted to be a blogger. I was fascinated by how you could monetize a blog like that. So I started a blog and I continued to, do my day job of teaching and everything, knowing that I was going to transition. I was working 70 hours a week, all weekend long, just like most entrepreneurs' stories that you hear. And nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Nothing. I was working so hard and I just couldn't get any traction at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what did happen was somebody found my blog. It was an educational blog. So somebody found my blog, another educational blogger, and he said, "Will you write for me?" And so that's how I started freelance writing. And I just, from word of mouth, I started getting clients. And I just I didn't do a lot of outreach. I didn't try and do a lot of marketing or anything. I just kind of kept it small and gave up the blog finally. And then I decided I needed a new adventure. So I started writing mysteries and publishing fiction. And so for a while I wanted to do that full time. And then that was like, this is a lot of work. I think I want to do this for fun and not as a job, because, it's kind of an uphill battle to break into that world. So I'm still doing that. But as my business grew, what I really noticed was people were afraid, entrepreneurs were afraid to show up as themselves.
Yeah.
So their messaging and all of their content, their ads, everything sounded either like everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
or sweet, like they're modeling somebody else that's really big and famous in the world. And so what was coming across was just either really generic or so much like another big name that they were just passed over in the marketplace.
Gotcha.
And so as a person who has always felt like I was outside of the loop, I've never fit in. I've always been eccentric or weird, or it depends on who you ask, right? So I never felt like I fit into to society very smoothly. And I realized that was a big part of my problem when I started my blog. Was I was trying to be this professional, be seen as this expert, left all of my personality aside, didn't show up as myself. And so I started bringing the Myers-Briggs personality typing into my business, and found out that that is a great way for people to learn to embrace their strengths and start at that level, and
Wow.
then help them to share their message in a way that is really unique for them. So I
Nice.
believe that we are all here on this planet at this time for a specific reason, that we have a mission that we're here to serve. And my part of my mission is to help entrepreneurs who have big visions get their messaging out there in an authentic way so that they can magically and magnetically draw the attention of the people they're here to serve.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so I feel like I'm here to use my uh, my wordsmith capabilities to help other entrepreneurs really shine a light on what they can do to help make the world a better place. So,
Wow. Very
that's what I'm
powerful.
talking about. Yeah, it's exciting.
Very powerful. So, obviously, I've been making notes, and so there's lots of questions that I have for you. But first, so college professor, you then say, well, I kind of got burned out. I realized that, wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And I love that because I want to touch on that first. I think that one of the things that happens so often to people is they get in a job and it works in their life. Basically, it's not what they want to do, but it works in their life. I mean, it pays the bills, it covers your
Yeah.
insurance, those things that we are told we have to live by. You can get your house, you can pay for your house, you can pay for your car, you can pay for your kids' college, whatever, but it's not you. It doesn't make what. So I love the bravery that you said, just not it. I got burned out and that's just not it. And then you decided that you were writing books. And then you said, again, I like this all right, but this isn't like setting my hair on fire. I love to use that term
Yeah.
because, people say set your soul on fire, and that's one thing. But you know what? We were running around like crazy people when we were happy and doing our thing. And when we're doing that, I feel like your hair's on fire. So that's why I like to use that analogy. But I love you said that again is you were writing books, and although you were good at it and you got it and you were successful, it just wasn't it. And so you were brave enough to say, I don't fit in, and that's okay. I want to help other people who maybe just can't figure out their voice. So I love how you tied all that together. I mean, it's just so fantastic to talk to you about this and to hear your perspective. It's really cool. So tell us a couple of things about that. So what did you teach when you were a professor?
English,
Okay.
writing and literature. Mm-hmm.
So there is a tie in all this stuff. It's just figuring out
Oh, absolutely.
you've got this, this sphere in the middle that's really talking and English and language and all of those pieces. And you
Yes.
have all these different feelers out there just trying to find the right spot.
Yes, absolutely. So right now, I see my vision as being three-pronged. One of them is with Content Dharma, and it's become an agency now. So I'm not doing, all the content writing or the strategy. I'm not doing all of that. I'm the CEO. And
Woo! Good stuff.
yeah, well, I still have a lot of contact with the clients because that's the part that I really, really love.
Yeah.
Becoming intimate with them so that we can really understand their business and how we can help them. But another prong is I'm still writing fiction. And I start by finding or having shown to me or given to me a theme that I feel needs to be discussed in the world. And so that's how all of my books start. So they're cozy mysteries, and but at the heart of them is always some theme that I want to share with the world. And it's often tied to do your own thing. Don't give in to the constructs that the society tells you have to buy into. All those kinds of things. Follow your bliss. Let your freak flag fly, kind of a thing. So almost all of it really is around that sort of thing, just encouraging people to do what they feel led to do rather than what they're supposed to do, because that's never going to make you happy ever.
I think
And
so
then
many of
I
us.
also.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Very sorry. Now, I
Oh
think
no,
so
I was
many
just
of
going
us
to
are
say,
put on this path that they, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get on this
no,
train and, you're supposed to graduate from high school and then you're supposed to go to college. And then from college, you're supposed to get married, live in the little house with a big white fence and have
yeah,
2.5 kids and, pay your bills and all of those things. And those are all good things. They're not bad things. That's norm. And that's really good. That keeps us on a path. And some people really need the path, but a lot of us
yeah,
have a lot of inspiration and special talents inside of us that we just don't give ourselves the luxury to think about.
yes, absolutely.
What are you touching
Yeah,
on that?
yeah. So, yeah, that's everything that I do really focuses around writing, communication of some sort, and and the whole idea of being different is a strength,
Mm-hmm.
and accepting that and living that way is actually the best way to differentiate yourself in the market. If you're,
Mm-hmm.
an entrepreneur, you stand out that way. And then the other facet of what I see as my vision is working with other fiction authors or wannabe authors. So I call myself the intuitive writing coach, and I work specifically with people to help them overcome like their writing blocks based on their personality. So based on those four little letters from the Myers-Briggs.
Right.
And that falls right in line as well. We all have writing strengths. And when we fight against that, that's when it becomes hard. And I definitely learned that myself. My fourth book was so hard to write. And it was
Mm.
because I was trying to fix my process so that it would
Oh.
be more efficient. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me like a year and a half to write. And
Mm.
it was just so painful. And when I just finally said, you know what, I'm not going to listen to any of that advice. I'm going to go back to what I know, what works for me. It was written in a month. So
Wow.
because
Nice.
every time I do something, I try and fit in and make it like the model that everybody tells you need to fit. Do this formula, and everything will work. It's never worked for me because I don't fit in that kind of framework. So for
Sure.
example, 75% of the people in the world are censors. They have an S in their Myers-Briggs letters. So they get their feelers out using their senses. They want all of the details, they want all of the facts, and then they make a decision based on that. On the other hand, there are intuitives. That's me, and that's probably you, because
Mm-hmm.
we are the visionaries who are the ones who the censors are the status quo. We need that. We
Yeah.
need to have things in place so that society isn't just total chaos. But we are the innovators. And so anytime we are trying to be a censor and trying to do everything like they tell you to do, it's not going to work for you and you're not going to be happy. It's just not how you operate. You have to feel whether something is right for you and then get the facts before you make a decision.
Well,
So
it
just
sort of fits
act.
into the entrepreneurial theme in the respect that an intuitive is more of a person who sees something and says, I mean, I don't, everybody gets to it at a different way. And that's why the series is
Yeah,
so successful and works so well. But you saw something and you're going to take some action and try to figure this out, whether it's, I'm going to put together a business plan or I'm going to just jump in with, all hands, all feet and I'm all in. You're seeing that and you're making a plan to move to the next level. So I think a lot of the people that we talk to are exactly that, but you're 100% right. If we had all intuitive or all sensory people, it would go one way or the other too extreme. I mean, I would
yeah,
be totally squashed. My hair would absolutely never be on fire because I couldn't possibly be squashed in that. I mean, in my family, my husband's exactly follow the directions, follow the rules, punch the time clock. And it's phenomenal in our family because if he was like me, we would be poor, standing on the street begging for food because I'm running around seeing all of things that we can do and try this and try that. And thank God he keeps me level and vice versa. I
yeah,
keep him level. So
right.
you're totally right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
fantastic.
we all use some sensing, of course. I mean, that's just how we survive in the world. And we're all on a continuum But that's just one example of how it can really impact in a practical way how you're showing up in the world and how easy it is for you to get into flow and really break through any challenges that you have is
Right.
all in, finding your own way that feels right. So it's
So
major.
again, back to a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. So how did you come up with the name of your company? Of course, that we would, that's always an interesting question. Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it has this massive meaning. So we're of course curious about that.
Uh, yeah, I changed my company name. It was something that sounded really hard. Nitty Gritty English. That's what I started my company out as in the beginning, right? It's the name of my blog.
Interesting.
And as I kind of moved through, I'm like, the energy around it was just hard,
Okay.
hard work, struggle, right? And so I decided, I'm actually a Buddhist. And so I decided I really liked the idea of bringing Dharma into it. And then Right Dharma is the new name of my company. So kind of like, right path, except with, write a letter. And then
Neat.
when I was trying to, yeah, and then when I was trying to come up with a name for this business and totally change it over, um, Content Dharma just seemed like the right thing because our tagline is your message is our mission. So we're helping you find your Dharma, your true path, by using our talents.
I love
So
it.
that's where it came from.
Good
Yeah.
story. See, that's exactly why I love to ask that question of people. Sometimes it's real simple. Sometimes there's no real thing. I just came to me, and that's cool too
Yeah.
because people need to understand that they're just like the intuitives and the sensory and all of those pieces. There's both sides to this puzzle, but it is interesting to learn the story behind a lot of different things that people experience. Because what works for
Yeah.
you doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for most other people. What works for me doesn't work for most other people. So
Mm-hmm.
again, this series is to remind people that there are people that are going through similar things, and maybe their problem
Yeah.
is coming up with the name. I mean, I don't even have a real name for my company. It's just my name. So
Right.
it's just easier that way because then people know who I am. It's not trying to relate me to something else, but that just works for me. So I love it.
Yeah.
So how long have you been Content Dharma? Or even Nitty Gritty Writing? Is that what you said? Nitty Gritty Writing?
Nitty Gritty English.
Oh, and by the way, Nitty
English.
Gritty English, the name of your dog is Nitty Gritty? Did I hear you
No.
say that? Oh, I
No.
misunderstood. I thought you said that's the name of my
No.
dog. That's where it came from. I was like,
No.
that's funny.
No. No.
All right.
How long? How long have I been? I've been doing. I started freelance writing kind of by accident. Um, 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
When did you
Yeah.
become a company and you got other people working for you? And let's go down that path for a
Oh,
minute.
yeah. I've been doing that for about 4 years,
Mhm.
and it just keeps growing. And as
Well,
you know,
sure,
as
because you're
I,
making videos.
yeah, yeah.
So let's talk
So,
about that for a minute because I think that's a piece of this that people either don't know where to go or feel like they can't afford it or they don't want to let go or all of those things that become this the next step. You're working in your business for 4 years basically, and at some point you said, hold it. What happened next?
yeah, I realized I can't work anymore. I can't grow this because I'm trading my time for money. I can't do any more. And so I started very slowly. That's a tip that's really important. I I tried out some writers. Some were better than others. Most of them didn't stick with me for very long. They kind of fell off. Um, and that I just kept trying, and I would get referrals from other people, which is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And now in the last year, I've created a manifesto, and everybody who works as part of my team needs to buy into that.
Yes.
And it's a lot about what we've been talking about, and that's the culture that I've created.
Mm-hmm.
Is you own the outcomes that you take on. So I don't care when you work or how you work or what your process is. That's what is great about freelancers. So they're still freelancers, but they're working for me. So they can still do things the way they want, show up, give me the content, and then it goes through the pipeline. But I think that's one of the benefits is they don't have to give up their personal power to clock, to clock in. That's why they're freelancers. They don't want to do that, right? So, but I've learned, just like most people, I've learned the hard way that it's you start delegating, you start outsourcing, and if you set it up so that you have to be the micromanager of everything, you're going to be busier than you were before. So it's really, you have to really be willing to let go of that total control to make it happen, to make it work. Yeah.
So I love one of
scary.
the concepts here because, one thing that I'm very strong about is the team that works for you. I talk to people all the time about the fact that your team in the right organization, the right creation is more important than your customers, because if they don't understand you and what your business is about and how your business works for the customer, they will never be a good team member for you and make your business successful. They have to understand you and what matters to you, what makes you tick, more than they even can understand the customer, because the customer is coming to you because of you, the owner. That's who they want to work with. So you are creating these mini me's, and they have to be able to function just like you. But you also have to take care of them so that they function that way. So that's one reason I always talk about the fact that your team is more important than your customers, in the respect that if you don't build them the right way and you don't support them the right way, they're never going to support your customers. So I love that you created a manifesto, if you will, so they knew exactly what the plan is of your business. And going in, you're starting out right at the beginning with, here's me, here's what my business looks like, here's what I expect from you as far as a team member of my business, and this is how we're going to take care of our customers.
Right. And it shows up pretty quickly if they're not the right fit. And that's not that they're a bad person or that they're a bad writer or anything else. It's just they don't see the vision that I have. And so if that's not working, we can part ways amicably. That's how I want to do things. I want to keep things, harmony is very important to me. So I want everybody working together. But it's pretty obvious from the get-go. And of course, one thing I do is have all prospective team members take the Myers-Briggs indicator test, because it helps me know how they work best. So I just discovered that a couple of my team members really work better when they have like visuals, like pie charts and stuff. I don't need that. And so when I learned that, I changed all of the SOPs and everything, went in and did like all these flow charts and these graphs and stuff, so that it, like, one glance and they're like, oh, that makes total sense.
Now I know exactly
all these questions. Very good. Smart. Yeah, because I know them. That was, that's how they work best. I need to provide that for them.
Yeah, especially if they're providing all the other pieces that you need and it's all coming together. If you're not communicating on the same level, that's perfect. It's very intuitive of you. So talk to us a little bit about things that you've learned that helped you along the way. Like, obviously, but talk about some other things that maybe you found along the way that make or break kind of things. You knew, gosh, I'm so glad I learned this, or so glad I did this, or so glad I took this step or met this person, or this was part of the development of my business.
A lot of it is just going to sound airy-fairy, because it's the harder I push, the more time I work, the harder I push, the more focused I am on the money and the getting the clients, the harder everything gets. So if I'm coming from a place of service and trust that infinite intelligence has my back, and that I'm going to show up exactly where I need to show up, everything just flows so much easier. No, it's not perfect. It's not nirvana,
Yeah.
but it's so much easier. And that's my personality type does not go towards that at all. I'm big perfectionist. And
Yeah.
so,
To be an
you know,
English writer, you must be and a
yeah,
professor.
yeah. So it's kind of like I have a lot of support around me, my husband, my daughter, but
Hmm.
also joining like a mastermind group has been life altering because people understand finally. I feel like finally people understand. I found the right group. They
Hmm.
get me. They get me enough to know um, that they can, that they can support me in what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And they'll remind me, and my team will remind me, you're working too hard. You're making this too hard. So
Hmm.
that's probably the biggest thing I've learned is
Nice.
to go with the flow, which sounds so, cliche, but it's really true. If I focus
Something
on,
that you talked about that I
yeah,
really liked is the mastermind thing. One of the themes that's always true in these entrepreneurial interviews is a couple of things. Sharing, exposing some of your weaknesses or questions. As an entrepreneur, we have a feeling that we're on an island and there's, nobody else understands. Or if we share, we look like we're weak and we're supposed to know
yeah,
everything. And so I love this concept of the mastermind or mentors or the things that's a common
yeah.
theme when I interview people. And I love this mastermind theme. So basically, you're talking about, tell us a little bit about how that works, because I think people just don't know enough about this and they're too afraid, like, I can't share this with anybody. And you're saying that's absolutely not true.
Absolutely. And I've been in other masterminds or groups. I don't know what you want to call them, but where I paid to be a part of it, and they were all um, work hard, grind. You've got to give. You've got to sacrifice. Because I thought that's how you were an entrepreneur, right? So in the beginning, that's the kind of group that I was joining, and
Yeah.
now that I've joined a group of people that the mentor is living his talk,
Yeah.
um, has started from nothing and focuses almost not exclusively, but 75% of what he talks about is mindset.
Hmm.
That changed everything.
Nice.
So I got in, everybody in our group, we start with a spiritual vision. Everything that we build in our business starts with that. So when you come from that kind of a service based um, foundation, the
Hmm.
people who are attracted to that are just naturally wanting to do great things and make a big impact in the world. Yeah, they want to live a nice lifestyle. They want to have the kind of money that they want to have, but ultimately it has to be in alignment with their spiritual mission. So
Right. Right.
that
Well,
makes a big difference.
Jackie, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think these are such important pieces and we've gotten so much good information from you, and your story is just really inspiring and incredible. So as we start to wrap up, if you would share with us, what's the one piece of advice that if somebody said, I'm thinking about doing this, but I'm just afraid, I don't know what to do, or I'm not sure how to get over this speed bump. What's your piece? What's your go-to thing when you get stuck in a rut that really gets your head in the right space again?
I stop. I stop. I pause.
I like it.
Yeah, I pause and my personality, I need a lot of alone time. I need to sit down and journal. Um, I have one of those great big like coloring pads that you give to kids that they can draw on. I get out
Mhm.
my colored markers and I write out all my questions that I've got, and I do mind mapping, whatever feels right. I'm not a drawer or anything, but I will,
Yeah.
sometimes doodle, and journaling really is a great way for me to kind of what's wrong, what's my resistance here. Taking a
Yeah.
walk in nature, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
So working harder at it when it's not flowing never works.
Yeah, I
That's
love it.
my tip.
Stop.
Just walk away. Yeah,
Just stop.
stop.
And I love it. Stop. The mind mapping is kind of interesting, because just stop and then, get your brain somewhere else for a minute
Yeah,
to totally immediately shut it off and then come back and say, what are all my questions? And I love it. That's so powerful. And I mean, so real. I mean, so many of us need to just hear that. Sometimes you just have to stop. So Jackie, if somebody wants to get in touch with you after today, they want to work with you, they want to find out more, they want to join your mastermind, they want to do any of these things, they really want to pick your brain because there's so much interesting stuff up there. How do we get in touch with you after today?
You can email me at Jacqueline at contentdharma.com. And can always set up a meeting and see how we can serve you.
All right, good. I just added that in the comments, and then we'll also make sure that it is in all the information that we share. Do you have a website? Is it contentdharma.com?
There will be a website. It's still not live yet.
Very good. Very good. Can people connect with you on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, any of those places?
Both. LinkedIn and Facebook.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. That's fantastic. Guys, we're also going to be, obviously we're broadcasting live on Facebook and live on YouTube right now. We'll be sharing this after it's over in LinkedIn. So anybody that Jacqueline is connected with in LinkedIn will be able to see that information. She's going to be sharing it everywhere. So all the people that are watching, or maybe you missed part of this and you want to go back and catch some more, you can do that. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Connie Fuchsa, F-U-K-S-A, in YouTube, and then you'll make sure you don't miss any videos that we do. Of course, there's also a lot of content about this and that on my website, ConnieFuchsa.com. Really easy to remember. I told you my company is me. So there's a lot of interesting things on there about, how to do live videos, how all of these broadcasts we're doing, all of this amazing series. We're starting to amp up to do a challenge we're going to be doing soon. And what Connie does is help you expose your expertise. So we all have lots of good stuff in our head. We know how to answer the questions that people ask us about our business, but we don't know how to talk about it in public. And Connie helps you pull that out of your head and talk about it in a way that your grandmother could even understand you. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Jacqueline, I can't thank you enough for being with us. This has been so exciting, so much fun. I got so much good information, and I know our viewers did too, and I really appreciate your time today.
Great. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. Guys, tune in again on LinkedIn. It'll be there. It'll be on Facebook, on YouTube. And then in a couple weeks, we'll actually have a rewind. So if you missed anything, those are all places that you can get it. Check out Jacqueline, email her and message her so you can get some good information and pick her brain a little bit and see how she can help you, because it sounds like I need to do that too. For now, thank you so much for tuning in to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews. I'm Connie Fuchsa. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye, everybody.